Let's get you mobile. Stand by for vehicle drop.
I've been pretty pleased with the reaction to my Halo Infinite video. There's been a lot of support from Halo players who understand my issues with the game, and it's nice to see some respectful and thoughtful discourse. Obviously, it's not universal, it's a critical video, there's gonna be a few freakouts, even on my part, but overall, not bad. In this video, I want to leave aside my thoughts about Halo Infinite's campaign and open world, good or bad, and focus solely on my long-time personal issue with the series, as well as expand on a couple points from my last video. This video will not have much in the way of visual examples, this is just me talking here, so if you want to listen to me ramble about Halo some more, welcome. My issue with Halo, and some other shooters to some extent, is the regenerating health system. But I think some people misunderstand my criticism to mean that I'd like to remove it completely and replace it. Definitely not. Halo's shield system is fundamental to its identity and sandbox gameplay. If you aren't hearing that beeping sound, is it really Halo anymore? So let's run through my gripes with the health regen system and how I think it could be improved in Halo Infinite. With the inclusion of the grappling hook, your options for mobility and confrontational combat have greatly expanded. But with the creation of the open world and weapon spawns, so too have the options for playing lame and sniping enemies who many times don't have the AI to deal with it. And I feel like the systems of Halo Infinite heavily benefit that sniping lame play over confrontational combat. And by the way, I'm not necessarily insulting a playstyle by calling it lame. If you play fighting games, you know that playing lame is a legitimate strategy that some characters are built to excel at. And some games are made to emphasize that lame playstyle and make it the focal point of their gameplay. I'm not going to criticize a sniper game or a hunting game for encouraging lame play. Now, it's important to make a distinction between options and systems. A game can have all the options in the world, but they don't necessarily benefit the systems the game is built upon. Halo Infinite presents new options for you to push into the combat zone, but still asks you to run away and hide behind cover if you make a mistake and lose your shield. There's no other way to keep yourself alive. Halo Infinite's grappling hook is obviously there to make players want to get more involved in combat. It has a ground pound upgrade, for Christ's sake. The grappling hook is a great option and it's fun to use in combat, but they haven't rebalanced the health system to accommodate it. The grappling hook is there for you to push into combat more than you ever could before, but it has a health system that is 100% dependent on running away. That feels like a contradiction to me. I think it would feel so much better with some kind of active health option, even if it were a small one. My point has always been, if the only way to keep my health up is to hide behind cover, what is my in-game incentive to come out of cover and push into combat? The answer I normally hear is because it's fun. And sure, I get that. And I guess not everyone feels the same as I do, but I don't get a lot of satisfaction from earning victory by taking the challenging road when the easy road was always available. At least not on a first playthrough, and that's largely what I'm talking about here. Any game is going to get busted on repeat playthroughs in practice. I'm talking about the first time you play it, when you go in not knowing much. I know that once you're really good at Halo games, you can play them however you want and be successful. I'm not a great Halo player, I would never pretend to be. But you know what? Neither are most people. Millions of people play Halo, and the majority aren't great. They're just people who want to play the game and have a good time, and probably put it down and move on to something else. I place a lot of value on the first playthrough experience for someone new, and if you're a Halo fan, don't you? Don't you care about the experience of a new player coming to your franchise for the first time by picking up a sequel? It would be pretty crazy to ask a kid today to go back through 20 years of games to play through an entire franchise and get good at it before they're allowed to play Halo Infinite and give their opinion on it. I want someone coming to my favorite series for the first time to be able to come in and enjoy the game and see what's great about it. I'd like to think Halo players want the same. And my point about the way this game is set up is, if you aren't already good when you come to this game the first time, the systems for survival lean heavily in favor of cowardice. Because yeah, it's harder to go forward into confrontational combat using all your options and playing aggressively. That's okay, I'm glad it requires knowledge and practice, but since there's no active health recovery option, things are off balance. Halo games have experimented with different health systems before. The original game had health packs and a regenerating shield, so if you wanted to be at full health, you had to go get it. In 2002, playing Halo Combat Evolved multiplayer at LAN parties, even though I wasn't crazy about the game, I appreciated that if I almost died and then took cover to heal, it only recharged my shield. If I wanted to be at 100%, I had to move and find a health pack. It made it so running away wasn't a get out of jail free card. You're still hurt, you're in a compromised position. If I nearly killed someone and they got away, we weren't completely starting over after they healed. All I had to do was lower their shield again and they were dead. There was a sense of progress to the firefights that was lost when Halo sequels went with shield only or full-on shield and health regen. There's a system I love in Resistance Fall of Man where your shield is in 4 parts, and it only regenerated to a certain point, and you had to find the rest in pickups. So there are ways to tweak this health regen idea to make gameplay more active. Halo Infinite unfortunately has both shield and health as regenerating, without any other option. And again, I'm not saying the shield shouldn't regenerate, I'm saying there should be something else on top. And the health bar probably shouldn't regenerate. In my last video, I said there could be little 10% shield recharges scattered around combat zones, or there could be health packs or health recharge stations, something to keep you moving. Personally, on top of shield recharge pickups on the ground, I think it would be cool to occasionally have enemies drop small personal health packs, and make shield regeneration dependent upon manual use shield charges. Say your shield recharge is super fucking slow, and if you want a fast recharge, you gotta use an item, and you could only carry 3 at a time. You could trigger them during combat for an instant recharge, or hide behind cover and use them. This would allow you to heal yourself during confrontational combat, so you aren't always forced to run away. But it would also nerf lane play a bit, because if you're getting hit while sniping, you'll eventually run out of shield charges and you'll need to push into combat to get more. I'm curious what fans think about this. I think that there could be adjustments made to Halo Infinite's combat, especially in the health system, that would help accentuate its strengths while not hurting what people love so much about it. Obviously, you could pick these ideas apart for flaws, but that's not the point. I'm just saying there's gotta be a way to make things a little more active. Regardless of what you do, adding some kind of active health system to the mix with the shield regen system behind cover wouldn't ruin Halo's gameplay at all. It would expand it. There needs to be a way to provide real reasons to push into combat, because when I push in, I find a hell of a lot of reasons to pull back. But when I pull back, I don't find reasons to push in other than fighting against my own boredom. Hiding behind cover and exploiting the AI is a tactic that is presented as viable from the very first level, and it's very effective. It's efficient, it's easy, it's safe. It's a great fuck it option, and I don't like having a constant fuck it option at my disposal when I'm trying to learn a new game. And before anyone brings it up, yes, some of my favorite games have fuck it options like that, and I don't like it. I wish those games were better balanced. They're not safe from criticism. Do I think square square triangle is too strong in God of War? Yes, I do, and I'm not gonna get upset if someone says the balance is off. Some of you might say I'm messing with Halo's sandbox design. I hear a lot about how Halo is about player expression and freedom to approach fights how you want, and it isn't supposed to force you to play any specific way. But I disagree. I think that's a perspective you develop with familiarity of the series and a good understanding of the game. From the perspective of a new player learning the game, Halo Infinite very clearly is pushing you towards lame cover-based play because of how punishing it is to make a mistake when you go in, leaving you with literally no other option for survival other than running away and waiting for your shield to recharge. So I don't buy into this idea that Halo doesn't push you towards any particular playstyle. I think if you rebalance the health system a little bit, you could have a first-time playthrough experience that benefited both playstyles. Halo fans could continue to play however they like, long-distance lane play would still be viable to a point, and new players would have a reason to get out from behind cover sometimes too. All of this boils down to my belief that it's a game's responsibility to show you how fun it could be, not rely on prior knowledge or expectations. Because I guarantee you, there's no way that developers design a bunch of interesting mechanics hoping that new players come to their game and end up ignoring them because of how effective the mindless option is. So, do I just not understand Halo? I mean, I think I do. I understand the appeal of the sandbox design, offering multiple viable solutions to approaching a combat scenario. I think it's more of an issue of balance. And it's especially bad in the open world of Halo Infinite, where you can spawn in whatever overpowered weapon you want and take them into all the identical side missions. I really don't get that. But I am at least happy that you can't significantly break main campaign missions that way. That's nice. However, the ability to pick whatever weapon you want and bring them into main missions definitely has an impact, especially since there are ammo refill stations littered around the maps, so you can straight up ignore the Halo gameplay loop that I thought Halo players found so enjoyable. You know, the whole thing where you gotta adapt to the battlefield depending on the weapons that you find around you, cause weapons ran out of ammo and you couldn't hold a full arsenal. Is being able to ignore that really a good thing? I hear from some people that Halo Infinite allowing you to spawn your preferred weapons is actually just the game giving the player freedom, and that's what Halo is all about. So I would ask those same people, does that mean that in the older games you felt forced to adapt to the battlefield and available weapons? And if you did, was that a bad thing? Do you think the classic Halo games would be better if you could pick the same weapon loadout for every mission and keep those guns refilled? Let me know if you actually think that, cause when I look at the classic Halo games that are touted as being beacons of freedom and player expression, I see games with a combat loop built around limitations. Limitations that funnel you into the way the game is designed to be played. Sounds like Halo has been trying to force you into the way they want you to play it, pushing the player into the fun zone through limitations. What a concept. Merry Christmas.